Well, welcome today. I am so excited to have with me as my guest, Carrie Berger. She is the founder of Inspire Whole Health. And we went to church together for quite a while and never really connected until after COVID and
Yeah.
talking online during online church and got to know each other through that. COVID has done some good things for me and my business because this whole coaching thing kind of took off as a result
Yeah.
of that for me. But it was so
Yeah.
exciting for me to see that Carrie had a similar path to mine in working on women's health, anybody's health, but particularly women who are struggling and wanting to get healthy. So, Carrie, tell us about your journey and what led you to do what you're doing.
Oh goodness, Linda, thank you. Thank you for asking. I'll try not to get overly um in the trenches, but so my journey has been kind of a long journey to where I'm at. Yeah, COVID did do a lot of there was a lot of blessings in COVID, I think. A lot
Yeah.
of blessings. I think that it allowed us to maybe nurture some of those relationships that haven't, happened before, right? So like you and I, that to me was a blessing. Yes, I always loved though when you played the music at the church.
Oh,
Yeah, yeah.
thanks.
So we do love that. If any of you guys didn't know that Linda's musically inclined.
Yeah, probably not.
Yeah, awesome bass player. Um, anyway, so COVID COVID disrupted a lot of things in my personal career, if I'm honest. So I worked corporately as a health coach for a company, and I traveled a lot. And with COVID, it went more to virtual coaching, which was beautiful. But it also opened up the door to the Lord saying, I think it's time that you start your own functional medicine health coaching business.
Awesome.
And I listened to that call about a year and a half ago. And it's been a whirlwind ever since.
Unbelievable how that works. Well, the whole health coaching thing, you had shared a bit about your backstory on
Yeah.
how you got to some of the things that we have in common. Carrie just went through my 5-day recovery sobriety challenge, just kind of to give me some feedback because we have that story in common as far as being two women who had at one point in time chosen alcohol, drugs, and sex perhaps to um, self-satisfy things. So Carrie, if you wouldn't mind sharing that, and I appreciate that very personal story with our audience, if you wouldn't mind.
Yeah. Just a little backstory is I was I was working at a clinic, and I at the same time I was in a very, very toxic relationship with a man that was ironically a pastor's son. And it was a relationship where there was a lot of alcohol abuse, drug abuse, and sexual addiction on his part. So the relationship was really toxic, and I had just been fired from my position at the clinic. And life was just, it was a hot mess. And I just had always knew life had to be something more. What that looked like, I had no idea. Um, I fully believe that the Lord had brought this man into my life, not for him, but because of his parents, because his parents really showed me what a relationship with another human should look like and what a relationship with the Lord looks like. And I don't think I shared this part with you previously, Linda, but I grew up in a household where religion was kind of a touchy subject. My father was a Jehovah's Witness and my mom was not. So religion was always very, very hard for me. But anyway, so I think the Lord used that situation to come back into my life, and so getting fired was a blessing. Having that toxic relationship actually ended up being a blessing because it brought the Lord back into my life. And from that, I ended up in a whole new career path with the health coaching that I didn't even know what health coaching was at the time. I wasn't doing health coaching with this company per se right away. I worked there for about a year, and then they came to me and asked me if I would be a health coach. And it was because of my love and passion for fitness. And from the fitness kind of fell into learning more about the nutrition aspect of it and how all of these things really tie into. But along with that, I was learning that the Lord, in his most gentle way, came alongside of me and taught me how to really love him by loving other people.
Wow.
And what loving other people really looked like, what it meant, or even to love myself, because there was no self-love.
Right.
There was a lot of toxic love where I went to the alcohol because I was bored, I was lonely. Those are the two main reasons. But he taught me how to love myself. And he did it in the most gentle and kind way.
Oh,
And he taught me how to develop meaningful relationships with other people that I never had before. And so my passion is really to see to show other people, I should say, to show other people what the Lord sees in them so that they can live the life that they were meant to live and not sit and struggle and I don't know what the word I'm looking for is, self-loathing, really. Because there's so much more to live for. And we don't have to struggle. We don't have to struggle alone. We don't. And I think so many of us do.
yes.
Because
Yep.
it's not easy to say that I abuse alcohol, I abuse food, I abuse sex, because I want a quick dopamine hit and I want to feel good about myself for a minute. So I'm going to a relationship where I'm being treated like crap, but being treated like crap is better than being lonely.
Yes. Yeah.
But what if you didn't have to be lonely?
Exactly. Yeah. What if there are other ways to get a dopamine hit and to reward? We talked earlier about rewarding
Yeah.
ourselves with
Yeah.
something other than a glass of wine, which is poison to our brains, women in particular, and young people.
Yeah.
It's poison, but there are so many other ways we can reward ourselves in healthy ways that look similar. I mean, we talked about healthy chocolate, dark chocolate,
Yeah.
protein, nut bars, love them, instead of having a Hershey's candy bar. You can make
Yeah.
something very similar that is actually very good for you. You can have a nutritional drink in a wine glass that sparkles
Yeah.
and bubbles without poisoning
Yeah.
yourself with alcohol. So there,
Yeah.
it's just a matter of perspective shifting and
Yeah.
changing how we do things. And you and I both have the Bible in common. That's kind of our foundation. And I just
Yeah.
love that you have a non-judgmental uh, presence about you, where somebody doesn't
Oh,
have
thank
to
you.
be of the same faith or the same persuasion as you are,
No.
to be able to help them, because you're not going to judge them, because the Bible, if we're going to live like Jesus means us to live, it is like First Corinthians says, where the greatest of all gifts that he's given us is love. And that's what we're all
Amen.
about. So you're really good at that. And I think from what I've seen, you do what you do and you help people because you care and because you love them. So if
I do.
somebody needs help, Carrie, what can you do to help them? What do you do as a health coach? What's the journey somebody might go on with you?
Yeah. So, well, ah, each person's journey is different.
Yeah,
So it's not going to look the same. I mean, yeah, sure, there's some foundational skills that are fairly similar, but it's going to look different for each person, because I want to come alongside, the people that I work with. I want to come alongside them and help build them up and teach them, certain skills, but ones that are going to fit into their unique lifestyle.
right.
Um, you know, one of the questions that I always want to ask somebody is, share with me, what are you willing to do and what are you not willing to do?
Right.
Because I don't want to teach you something that you're not willing to do.
Right, exactly.
And if already know what you're not willing to do, then hey, let's not even go there.
Like giving up
You know,
sugar or
if you're
alcohol
not ready
for
to
that.
if you're not ready to give anything up yet, yeah, this is your journey. It's not my journey.
Right,
It's your journey. So depending on what they're coming to me for, say if they're coming to me because they got a prescription from their doctor that said you need to go on a Mediterranean style food plan. Well, what does that look like for you? What are those challenges? Maybe it's I'm so stressed out that I have brain fog constantly and I can't do any tasks. Well, let's figure it out. Let's just figure it out together. You know, one of my one of the things that really, really means a lot to me is, what are the desires of your heart? Let's figure that out first.
oh,
Because then when you know what the desires of your heart are, now we can move forward.
oh, yeah,
Now we can connect these heart desires to this,
yes,
because a lot of this gets in the way of this
right,
and vice versa.
right, right, right. So your
Hi, I'm
bucket
Carrie.
list.
I'm an overthinker.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. What's your bucket list of how? I remember a counselor once asking me, Linda, what does your ideal day look like? If you were to
Yes.
write down what
Yes.
your ideal looked like, I started crying. I just bawled and I'm like, I can't even think about it because my life is so far from what I want my life to be. And now my life is very close to what I would like it to be. I've got things that I still want to change, but
Yeah.
work is not work for me anymore. And that's a clue for me. If you're doing something that feels like work, then you're probably not doing what God's planned for you to do. Because I think
Mm-hmm.
that if we're really in the center of his will, um, it's not going to be stressful. It'll be joyful. It won't feel like work. This is great. I can't believe I get paid to do this. This is so awesome. I don't know. That's how I feel. What about you?
Yeah, I agree with that statement. But I would like to add, like, it doesn't mean it's not going to be hard.
Right. Exactly. Yeah. Not always easy.
Doesn't mean it's not going to be hard. Yeah, but it's worth the effort.
Yes.
What's more important, this quick hit or the bigger reward, that joy, that everlasting joy?
Yes.
What do you want? Everlasting joy or just a moment of happiness?
Yes. Exactly. Yeah. There is definitely work involved. Like I had to go to school to become a counselor to do what I do.
Yeah.
And work as a counselor. I'm also a life coach, and I had to get training on that. And
Yeah.
yeah, there's marketing and
Yeah.
there's things about what I do that I don't like to do. But the meat of what I do in helping people and watching people's lives be transformed is just priceless. I do it even if I
Yeah.
don't get paid for it. And that's when you're heading in a direction, and there's value in investing in that. And that's the other key.
Mm-hmm.
If we are all faucets of hope, and you and I have similar coaching practices, but I don't consider you
Mm-hmm.
competition, because there are some people God is
Mm-mm.
calling to work with you and some that are supposed to work with me.
Yeah.
And so we're not in a fight over
Yeah.
who's going to work with who. I primarily am focused on older women who are sober curious and wanting to get that alcohol and drug addiction under control, and are looking to be God's vessel of hope for the world. And you're working specifically on their health and which are very
Yeah.
same kind of things I work on, but you've got a
Yeah.
different way of doing it. So I'm
Yeah.
excited that people have that opportunity to work with whoever God is leading them to work with. I know you pray people into you as I pray them into me, and we'll be passing them back and forth perhaps. But if people want to work with you, Carrie, how do they get in touch with you?
So yeah, I'm going through a little bit of a rebranding right now, so that's a little bit of a mess. But they can reach me right now either by emailing me at carrieberger22@outlook.com, or I do have a website, a temporary website up right now, inspirationalhealthus.com. If you go to the website, there's a little bit more information on there. That one's not complete, but you can sign up for a discovery call. So there is a button there that'll give you a discovery call, or you can email me and we can schedule that together.
Okay, and I will put that information down in the description of the video here. So, and I'll update that, Carrie, when you get your new information as
Yeah.
well. So we
Yeah.
can
Oh, thank
put
you.
that on there. Sure.
Yeah.
What other words of wisdom that would you like to share, or anything that closing comments would you like to share with people, Carrie? Words of advice.
Oh, you know, there's so much I could share. Words of advice is that there's always hope. And no matter what the struggle is, there are people that are here to help. Like like myself and you, Linda, where it's our desire to help. One of my passions is, working with functional medicine, is, looking at root cause. Root cause care. Let's get to the root of this. Let's not cover up the symptom. Let's get to the root of what's causing those symptoms, so that way we can all live the best lives that we are supposed to live in the will of God,
Right.
ideally, in his will.
Yeah,
When I release my own will, I get to go so much further because
absolutely.
we serve a God that is way beyond our understanding. And I can't wait to see what he has in store for you, Linda, and the clients that we get to serve.
Absolutely. Well, and what's wonderful about this, and I know you work on this too, is Romans 12 talks about
Mm,
not being conformed to the way this world does things. Hey, mommy wine culture and all these quick fixes out there. Don't be conformed to this
yeah.
world. Be transformed by the renewing of your mind, that you may know what the perfect will of God is. It's
Yes.
only
That's my
when
life
we
verse.
it's only when we really look at our thinking and see how skewed it is in doing it the world's way, that God has a much better plan. Whether you believe in the
Mm,
Bible or not, whether you're a Christian or not, there's some good stuff in there. There's some really
yeah.
good logical stuff, like Daniel in the Old Testament. He ate vegetables and drank water as opposed to the king's wine and fattening foods. And his guys were healthier. Go figure. Nebuchadnezzar
Yeah.
said, I don't know how you did it, but you ate this easy, healthy stuff. And yeah,
Yeah.
it can,
Yeah.
we just need to know and change our mind to, burgers and fries and a glass of beer is not really the best meal for living a long,
Yeah.
healthy life.
Yeah.
And so you can teach them health and nutrition and give them a perspective change and
Yeah.
help them in renewing their mind as well. So thank you
Yeah.
so much, Carrie. I
Oh, thank you
really
for having me,
appreciate
Linda.
you joining me. And I hope people will join Carrie Berger at Inspire Whole Health. And you can also find her on Facebook. So just check her out. I will leave that stuff in the description. But thank you, Carrie, and good luck to all the people that you are sharing and ministering to.
Thank you, Linda. I appreciate your time today.
Okay, all right.